Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the most thought-provoking podcast in this world or any other. It's What on Earth with your host, Nightwolf.
Welcome, truth seekers, to another episode of What on Earth. This is your host, Nightwolf, and we're going to be diving into episode number 7. And today's episode is going to cover OUMUAMUA. Let me say that again. OUMUAMUA. That is the Hawaiian translation for the word scout. And before we get into some facts about OUMUAMUA, which was an interstellar object that was discovered in 2017 near Earth, traveling past Earth, we're going to talk about Professor AVI LOEB. And let me give you some expertise on Dr. AVI LOEB. We're doing this because I want people to know what is really going on and that they're not telling us. So at the same time, I want to give you some of his expertise so you see that this guy is a credible source and highly respected in the science community, especially the astronomy community. So let me give you a little bit of details let's get into some details here of Dr. LOEB. Now, Dr. LOEB, okay, besides being the professor of science at Harvard University, okay, he's also led a project, first international project by the Strategic Defense Initiative from 83 to 88. He's a long-term member of the Institute for Advanced Study at Princeton from 88 to 93. Let's see here what we got. I'm going to give you some good stuff here. He's head of the Galileo Project from 2021 to present, currently head of the Galileo Project. He had been the longest-serving chair of Harvard's Department of Astronomy, and he was there from 2011 to 2020. He's also the founding director of Harvard's Black Hole Initiative. He's an elected fellow of the American Academy of Arts and Science, the American Physical Society, and the International Academy of Astronautics. LOEB is a former member of the President's Council of Advisors on Science and Technology at the White House, and a former chair of the Board on Physics and Astronomy of the National Academies from 2018 to 2021. So, if you guys are not familiar and I'm going to put the link below so you guys can catch his podcast, which is podcast number 1596 with Joe Rogan. Well, I'm a huge fan of Joe Rogan, one of the inspirations for me doing these podcast videos. So, hopefully I get to meet him one day. But let's dive into Mr. Professor here, Professor LOEB, or Dr. LOEB. He received his PhD in plasma physics at the age of 24 from the Hebrew University of Jerusalem back in 86. So he also holds a visiting professorship at the Weizmann Institute of Science and a Sackler Senior Professorship by special appointment in the School of Physics and Astronomy at Tel Aviv University. He's Australian-American, guys, or folks, ladies, guys and ladies. So let's get into, now that we know what the expert's saying about OUMUAMUA, aka Scout, or interstellar object that was a mirror-like spacecraft, okay, in space that was he actually confirmed that it was not naturally made by origin. So he strongly believes that the object that passed through our solar system in 1917 was a creation of an alien intelligence, of a higher intelligence species. So he's also, this is a book I gotta get, definitely. I have to get this book and read this book. He has a new book that came out called Extraterrestrial, The First Sign of Intelligent Life Beyond Earth. Okay, and that's what his book entails. It proposes that Oumuamua, the interstellar object that passed through our solar system in 2017, may have been the creation of an alien intelligence. He's a theoretical physicist whose areas of professional interest include cosmology and astrophysics. Okay, so Oumuamua that flew near Earth, and it went at incredible speeds and made maneuvers that didn't resemble an asteroid or it didn't resemble a comet. Because at first they were trying to say that trying to disprove the theory that he was saying that it was alien intelligence and it was artificially made, not naturally made. So let's go into some of the details here about Oumuamua. Okay, so here we go. The object's discoverers dubbed the interstellar object Oumuamua, which is a Hawaiian term that roughly translates to scout. The unavoidably cursory examinations of this celestial passerby showed it had several properties that defied easy natural explanation. Oumuamua's apparent shape, which was like a 100-meter long cigar or pancake, did not closely resemble any known asteroid or comet. Neither did its brightness, which revealed Oumuamua was at least 10 times more reflective than one of our solar system's typical space rocks, shiny enough to suggest the gleam of burnished metal. Most strangely, as it zoomed off after swooping by the sun, the object sped up faster than could be explained by our star's waning gravitational grip alone. Run-of-the-mill comets can exhibit similar accelerations because of the rocket-like effect of evaporating gases jetting from their sunlight-warmed icy surfaces, but no signs of such jets were seen around Oumuamua. To him, to Mr. Loeb, or Professor Loeb, or Dr. Loeb, however you want to title him, the most plausible explanation was as obvious as it was sensational. Taken together with its possibly pancake-like shape and high reflectivity, Oumuamua's anomalous acceleration made perfect sense if the object was in fact a light sail, perhaps a derelict from some long-expired galactic culture, primed by years spent pondering how we might someday find evidence of cosmic civilizations in the sky's depths. He became increasingly convinced that with Oumuamua, the evidence has instead found us. And in late 2018, Loeb and his co-author Shmuel Bailey, a Harvard postdoctoral fellow, published a paper in the Astrophysical Journal Letters, arguing that Oumuamua had been nothing less than humanity's first contact with an artifact of extraterrestrial intelligence. A lot of people say aliens, but I like to, or alien intelligence. I like to say intelligent life form, because that's exactly what it is. Like I've said in my past episodes, if God has the power to create this planet, to create animals, to create the human species, to create angels, to create the Nephilim, that's another subject we should get into, the Nephilim, it's in the Bible, we're supposedly giants on this planet. Why wouldn't he say, you know what, I created life in this galaxy, now let's go to this galaxy and let's create some life form, but you know what, this time I want to make them a little bit higher intelligence. I want to give them more intelligence than what I did when I created the human race, because I created the human race, but I limited them to certain brain power capacity. If you guys do your homework and know about science, you know that our brain capacity is probably limited to 10% of what it really is capable of doing. So who's to say? Plus, he also made us a lot less than the angels. And if you know angels and demons, I know for some people out there, they don't believe in angels and demons, but guess what? They believe in you. Okay, so you got to understand that. So if he has the power to create a being, a spiritual being, that is invisible to the eye, to the human eye, that's able to go from point A to point B in milliseconds, and he created us right under that. Who's to say he didn't want to do creation in other planets, other galaxies, other solar systems, with just a little bit more of higher intelligence than capacity? Maybe he said, you know what, let's give them 20% capacity in their brain. And because the whole objective of, I think, of God, if you read the Bible and what the story behind him and Lucifer was, and behind the fallen angels, was he didn't want this to continue to happen again. And if you do your homework, Lucifer is the most beautiful angel he ever created. So a lot of people think that Satan is this red guy with horns and evil looking, but it's exactly the opposite. He's exactly the most beautiful angel that got created. So think about that. You guys got to dwell on that and think about that. So I wanted to share this. I wanted to share his expertise, and you should listen to that Joe Rogan podcast because it's amazing. I mean, it's 2 hours long, but there's a lot of information there, and there's a lot of things that he says that he makes him understand that the OUMUAMUA's properties are well within the realm of natural phenomena, are not within the realm of natural phenomena. Let me correct that. So, and he his journal that he published, in that journal that he's talking about in the let me see here, the Astrophysical Journal Letters, he got a lot of backlash from that, and a lot of his co-workers were wanting to push him back on that theory, but he stood firm and said, no, this is what I believe. And like he says in the podcast, science, they're scientists, so they go by evidence. So all the evidence is refutably there to insist and for us to know that object, okay, that was discovered, was an object that's artificially made, not naturally made. So do your homework. I'm going to put the links below for my sources, and for Joe Rogan's podcast. I'm going to find this. I can link it below as well for my fans. And just thank you for tuning in. We might go live. Trying to schedule a live with Black Eagle now wants to come onto the show. So we're going to try to see if we can bring Black Eagle onto the show and see what we can discuss there. My second live episode that we're going to have. And Brian Casings wants to come on to the show again. So we're trying to schedule for Sunday evening, and hopefully that goes through. But once again, thank you for tuning in to What on Earth. This is your host, Night Wolf. God be with you.